Good evening. I would like to call this Fairfield Township organizational meeting to order. Today is Wednesday, January 5th, 2022 at 7 p.m. Trustee Michael Birding.
Present.
Trustee Shannon Harkemeyer.
Here.
Trustee Joe McAbee.
Here.
Okay. I would like to invite Pastor Cecil Day from the Lighthouse Church to give the invocation of please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
God, we thank you for another opportunity to meet together to discuss the needs of our community. Thank you for another year that you've given us. I ask, Father, for your leadership and guidance throughout this year, that every decision made would bring honor to you. We ask these things in your name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If one of you would like to make a motion to appoint a chairperson for the Board of Trustees, please.
I move to appoint Shannon Harkemeyer as chairperson of the Board of Trustees.
I'd nominate Michael Birding as president of the board, please.
Do you have any interest in that, Mr. Birding?
Well, thank you, Trustee McAbee. I appreciate that. However, I would like to decline at least this first year. I think that I would like to take this year to get my feet settled and follow a lot of things that you've done on the board and Trustee Harkemeyer's done on the board, and kind of sit back and not try to be the president this year. But I do appreciate your faith in my leadership. Thank you.
Motion to close the nominations.
Second.
Do we need to second the nominations?
You didn't get a second to the nomination of Shannon. So I think we do need a second to that before we close them.
Oh, okay.
It's already closed.
We didn't
Didn't
vote
vote.
on that.
Didn't vote on it?
No.
Well, we're just doing nominations, so we're not,
I didn't know that
Not
nominations needs a second. Does a nomination?
doesn't.
Yeah.
We should have opened it to nominations and made nominations, which we did, and then we have a motion and a second to close, so. So we should vote on,
It's been my experience that normally there's a second to the nomination too. I'm not positive what Robert's Rules of Order says on that. But if you want to close, we only have one nomination, so if you want to close the nominations and then vote, I think you could do that. So then vote on the motion to close the nominations.
Well, I think we should second the motion for the nomination and then second and vote on the nominations to close the. So I'll go ahead and second the nomination for chair.
Okay, and then we need to,
Then we can
That's out of-
close the
that's out of
nominations.
order.
Well, generally, don't we make a motion and then we second the motion? Maybe we should look that up, Larry.
well, my belief is, it's been my experience that there's always a motion to nominate and then a second.
That's the way
So-
we've done it every other year, I believe.
That's the way every board that I work with does it. So
So you have to have a motion and a second to nominate somebody for the position?
yes, that's the way it's normally been done in my experience.
So one person can't nominate somebody to fill a position. Open, nominate, and close. You have to have a second for the nomination for each person nominated?
I believe so. But as I indicated, I'm not positive of that, but I believe so. That's the way it's normally done anyway. Let me say it that way.
So to Mr. McAbee's point, do we need to vote on the motion to close the nominations? We could vote to not close them, and then we could go back and
Do another motion.
do another motion for a chairperson. Is that
Well, no,
correct?
you've done the motion for a chairperson and you have a second now.
Okay.
And you have a motion to close the nominations and you also have a second.
Okay.
Technically, we had two motions, but Mr. Birding recused, decided not to stand for the.
I will agree with that. Yes.
So that nomination died for lack of a second, I believe.
Okay. So there's been a motion to close in
Right.
a second, and so we should vote to close.
Yes, you should vote on that motion now.
Ready?
Who seconded the motion to close?
I second the motion
Okay.
to close.
Thank you.
Trustee Birding,
Yes.
Trustee Harkemaier,
Yes.
Trustee McAbey.
Yes.
Okay, so there's only one nomination. And I would say you should vote then on the board chair. So,
We already have the first and second, so just vote.
We don't need a roll call vote for that. We can just vote by acclamation, can't we?
yes? So you can say all in favor, say aye if you want.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
So Mrs. Harkemaier, would you like to take over the meeting?
I will. The next motion we have is a motion to appoint a vice chair for the Board of Trustees. I move to nominate Michael Birding for vice chair.
I mean, technically, the process should be to open the floor for nominations. Right?
Right? I think that's.
So that's not the same as recommend or make a motion? We've never had to have a second before to nominate someone.
I believe we have, because the question came up where could you vote to second yourself for that? I remember having that discussion or concept a number of years ago.
And you can?
No,
Yes.
You
You can't nominate yourself, but you can second yourself for the
Yes,
nomination.
You can second yourself if someone else makes the motion.
I'm not trying to defend anybody here, but I
Second?
have been part of boards where there's only been one nomination. And if there's not been a second, then it's been voted on to close. And then once it's closed, since there wasn't a second, it's an automatic.
Exactly.
I have been part of boards that have done that before. I don't know what this particular rules that we're running by yet.
We're running by Robert's Rules of Order, and as I said, I'm not positive on the way to do it, but I can tell you that I was at a meeting yesterday and they seconded the motions, and
Okay.
I've been to these meetings before, and we've always done, in my recollection, by seconding it.
Okay.
That's all I recall ever doing. I could be wrong, but I recall doing it that way.
Okay. I appreciate your guidance on that.
So there's a motion. Is there a second?
Mr. McAbey seconded it.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Trustee Birding,
Yes.
Trustee Harkemaier,
Yes,
Trustee McAbey.
Yes?
that passes. Recommend motion to appoint a 2022 EMA Advisory Council member.
I'd like to make a motion to let Trustee Harkemaier continue her role as the EMA Advisory Council member.
I've done this for a number of years, and I'm happy to continue doing that.
Second?
Thank you.
Trustee Birding,
Yes.
Trustee Harkemaier,
Yes,
Trustee McAbey.
Yes, and all these could be all in favor?
and that passes. Next one, recommend a motion to appoint the 2022 Volunteer Firefighters Fund Board members. I've done that before. I'm wondering, Trustee Birding, do you have any interest in doing that?
I do not at this point.
Okay, Trustee McAbey, would you like to take that on?
I think there has to be two of us, doesn't it? It says members. Are we going to appoint some other citizens to the committee too?
That board has, Mrs. Vonderhaar, can you refresh us on the board status of that? I don't mind doing it again if I'm happy to do it again.
I know typically it's been Matt Schuman, Katie Schuman is a citizen, one board member. I don't know if Chief Thomas has been on there. Typically, I believe it's 5 board members. We have not had to meet. It's created ORC required, and it was created solely for line of duty death. So thank goodness we haven't needed it.
And I'm happy to continue with that unless anyone else would like to participate with that.
So I'm fine with Trustee Harkemaier continuing it, but I think Mr. McAbey brought up Appoint, do we need to nominate the entire board? Is that what you're asking, Mr. McAfee?
And I know we do.
Okay.
We don't have to do that tonight, but the motion has printed is plural. So again, is there two trustees, two trustee spots? Or just one?
Typically one, and typically we receive a paper from the EMA where they ask us, and we write it all out.
No, this
So-
is the firefighters board.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm thinking of the EMA.
Yeah.
Firefighter, though, we have a sheet and we have to fill out names and numbers because we write out, it's been the same people almost every year. So
Okay.
we haven't received that form yet.
So we will appoint Mrs. Huckemeyer to the board, and if we need another one, Mr. Birding and myself will serve. So I make that motion.
Second?
Trustee Birding,
Yes?
Trustee Harkemaier,
Yes,
Trustee McAbey.
Yes.
that passes. Next motion, I move to adopt the most recent Robert's Rule of Order. Is-
Second?
Any discussion?
Yeah, I hope we're going to follow it this time.
Trustee Birding,
Yes?
Trustee Harkemaier,
Yes.
Trustee McAbey.
Yes.
Maybe you have the first resolution, please.
Resolution 2201 to approve the Fairfield Township trustee salaries as set by the ORC.
Motion to adopt.
Second. Any discussion?
Trustee Birding,
Yes.
Trustee Harkemaier,
Yes,
Trustee McAbey.
Yes.
that passes. May I have the next resolution, please?
Resolution 2202 to approve the Fairfield Township fiscal officer salary as set by the ORC.
This isn't necessary because there's no change in salary for the current fiscal officer.
There is now. New rule says January 1st, 2022, all township officials will have commenced a new term since the passage of the bill and are eligible to receive the increase in 2022 and going forward each year through 2028.
Where's that at?
It's attached to your resolution. It's the last line of the first paragraph.
So it's allowing for an increase in
Yes,
pay during the term.
yes.
That's according to the most recent handout from the Ohio Township Association.
Well, it says new term, a new term.
Since the passage of the bill and are eligible to receive the increase in 2022 and going forward each year through 2028. All township officials.
New term. Are you in a new term?
It says, as of January 1, 2022, all township officials will have commenced a new term since the passage of the bill.
Who
And
will
are-
have commenced a new term.
Since the passage of the bill
Mhm.
and are eligible to receive the increase in 2022.
The bill is effective December 27th, 2018. So yes, we have all commenced a new term since the passage of that date.
I don't think that's what it means, but we need clarification on it. We're all paid by the ORC's set rate, so
And that's what I think the resolution says anyway. I think that's what the resolution says.
Yeah, this, it looks like it used to be where you would only get it with a new term, but now you can get it
Yes.
midterm.
That is correct.
That's
If
the,
you- if-
that's the way I read it,
and
but,
I disagree with that, but we can vote on it because we're still going to go by the statute, right?
right, and that's what,
Nobody's going to get paid till the end of the month, so we've got 25 days to find out.
and that's what the resolution says.
Right.
We're going by the statute.
Right.
So Larry, you'll double check that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Can I get a motion, please?
So moved.
Second,
Trustee Birding,
Yes.
Trustee Harkemaier,
yes.
Trustee McAbey.
Abstain?
And that passes. Next resolution, please.
Resolution 22-3, establishing mileage reimbursement rate to be based on rate established by the Internal Revenue Service, effective date January 1st, 2022, and the IRS established 58.5 cents per mile.
Motion to adopt.
Second?
Any discussion? Mrs. Schultz?
Trustee Birding,
Yes.
Trustee Harkemaier,
Yes,
Trustee Mackabee,
Yes.
that passes. May we have the next resolution, please?
Resolution 22-4, to authorize the daily per diem rate for meals to be set at a maximum of $50 per day, effective date January 1st, 2022.
Motion to adopt Resolution 22-04.
Second?
Any discussion?
Trustee Birding,
Yes.
Trustee Harkemaier,
Yes,
Trustee Mackabee,
Yes.
that resolution passes. May we have the next one, please?
Resolution 22-5, to set the Township Board of Trustees 2022 regular meeting schedule for the second and fourth Wednesday of each month, with exceptions as needed, commencing at 7 p.m., attached herein is Exhibit A. And I will bring to your attention January 26th. The majority of the
Yes.
board will be at the OTA.
So I'll go ahead and move this, then we'll discuss it. Motion to adopt 22-05.
Second?
So generally what we've done in the past, and I would imagine we would continue with this precedent for months when it falls close to the holidays, we'll take a look and adjust that as needed. We do have an issue with January because the OTA is on the fourth Wednesday. So what are your thoughts on addressing that? Do we want to see if we need one the week earlier or have it the following week if needed? Thoughts?
My thoughts are we're meeting on the 12th next week. And then, if one's not meeting, I don't have an issue with canceling the meeting on the 26th.
Okay.
But if we need to meet, I'm okay with meeting as well. If
Okay.
we need to move it.
We've had requests from people in the township to change our night of the meeting, or at least offer a different, if we're going to meet twice a month, which we have been meeting less and less, to at least go to a different night. So maybe one Tuesday and one Wednesday, or both Tuesdays or Thursdays or whatever. I'd be in favor of that, just to allow the churchgoers on Wednesday night to come and see the meeting or watch it on Facebook or whatever on a different night. So, I'd be in favor of that. I have a problem with the 12th, so I was hoping that for this month, maybe we just split the difference like we've been doing and just meet one time.
My calendar's free.
Somewhere in the middle is okay. Or if we need to do business next week, we can meet on the 11th. And then maybe not meet again until February.
So is there interest in moving? Well, 2 points. I'm open to talking about moving it to Tuesday nights, at least on some occasions. The other thing too, we might want to consider is perhaps meeting first thing in the morning. Because there are people that work second shifts, and maybe we don't do that every meeting, but maybe one meeting a month we meet in the morning, and one meeting a month we meet in the afternoon or evening, just to accommodate some of that shift work. And I'm actually interested in entertaining Tuesday nights if anyone else would be. I don't know.
My schedule is flexible. I think we also need to check with staff.
Correct.
See when they are available. Mr. Mackabee, are you available on Tuesday evenings?
I'll make myself available on Tuesday evenings.
Okay.
If that's what we do.
The second and fourth Tuesdays?
Well, and
each
I'd like
month?
to do a meeting, morning meeting at some once in a while too, because I think that would give people that work second shift or evenings, maybe that would give them an opportunity to come in too. It also offers the additional benefit of staff already being here. So staff wouldn't have to stay late or work that over 12. But then it's not so much an overtime issue, but it would allow them to be at the meeting during working hours, which might be a benefit to them too. But I understand if there's conflicts with that. So maybe it's not something we do all of the time, but perhaps some of the time.
Well, maybe we could do that once a quarter.
I agree.
or
with once a
something like
quarter.
that. And I'm not afraid of a Saturday morning, once a quarter or something. We could do that, again, to get the morning time in. Again, staff, I don't see any more staff here than what I see now for this year, based on what's happening in the whole crazy country. But I'm open to all those things. But like I said, next week, I have a problem on the 12th, and then I understand that the OTA starts on Wednesday, so we could do the Tuesday night before if we wanted to, or we could do one meeting next week, do Tuesday night next week.
Do you,
We're gonna do Tuesdays. We could do the second Tuesday of the month, and then I'm okay if we just schedule one meeting a month and then add another one when we need it. Because there's a lot of times when we really don't need to.
okay,
There are some places that only schedule,
sure.
especially they might do two in the summertime, and some of them do two in the wintertime based on their situation. But I'd be okay with setting one meeting as our regular meeting schedule, one meeting on the second Tuesday of the month. And then supplement with whatever we need, just like tonight. We advertise tonight as a special meeting. We can do that, all we need is 24 hours notice, just like any other meeting.
So you're recommending meeting second Tuesday of each month and having the fourth Tuesday available if we need to meet, but not set it as a regular meeting night?
Yeah, I think, especially if you look at what we've been running into for November and December,
Right.
we don't need that last, you know what I mean? So give ourselves a little consistency, but again, we can always call a meeting if we need to.
The only conflict I could have on occasion is that the EMA meets on Tuesdays on a quarterly basis. Generally, that meeting is over. Sometimes it does have a tendency to run a little bit later. So that would be the one thing that probably wouldn't be an issue, but it potentially could be from time to time. Mrs. Vonderhaar, do you have any ideas from staff if that's something that could work for them?
We'll make whatever you decide work. And for me, including
Okay.
Saturdays, I'll meet the needs of the board. Not a
Okay.
problem.
The other thing too, just from a meeting preparation standpoint, we'll have to make sure that as a board, we're prepared and ready. That takes a little bit of our time out, but I think we can handle that.
You let me know if the Friday before it's enough, or if we need to.
Maybe we do it the
that,
Thursday before, if needed.
Whatever
Okay,
you all would help.
okay.
So I'd amend the motion we have. Is that what we do now? Amend the motion?
Well, either that or table it. It depends on, I'm not sure if we've reached a consensus. If you've reached a consensus, then make a motion to amend the
Make a
resolution.
motion to amend to set our regular scheduled meetings for the second Tuesday of each month at
And then-
7 o'clock.
And the fourth Tuesday as needed?
Well, I don't think you want to do
Oh,
that because
okay.
then I think the
You're committing
senses
to that.
I'm getting is
Okay.
that set all your meetings for Tuesdays and then the other will be a special meeting that you'll have to give notice for, right? Is that,
Correct.
and the resolution that we have now does provide for special meetings with proper notice. So I think all you would need to do is amend it to say that you'll meet the second Tuesday of every month. And then the resolution already says you have special meetings as necessary.
Just a quick question, how would that affect having the CIC meetings?
Normally, the CIC meetings are just before,
Is it usually before the first Tuesday or first Wednesday?
We've been all over with
Reschedule,
that.
right?
Yeah. And,
Okay.
and we've talked about really scheduling those on a separate night anyway. So
Okay.
we've done them before. We've had special meetings. But when we put it on, especially if we're just doing one meeting a month, we wouldn't want to do that at the same time. Just depending on what's in front of us.
Don't we have one for the 12th, right now, January 12th? So if that's a conflict, we probably need to discuss that.
Shall we move it to the 11th?
That's, again,
So for setting our meeting dates, Mr. McAbee is recommending that we amend the resolution.
Right, and Tuesday is the 11th.
Correct.
Yeah.
So if we,
If we're setting the schedule to the 11th, then we don't need to
that
do
works
it
for me.
separate.
That works for me next week.
Okay.
So I'd make that motion that we set the regular scheduled meeting for the second Tuesday of each month at 7 p.m.
so the resolution will be amended to that extent.
We need a second for that?
I
We need a
second.
second, and then we need to vote on the amendment first.
Mrs. Schultz?
Trustee Birding,
Yes?
Trustee Harkemaier,
Yes?
Trustee McAbee,
Yes?
And And then a motion to approve the resolution as amended.
Someone needs to make a motion to do that.
Motion to approve the resolution as amended.
I move to approve the amended resolution 22-05.
Second?
Trustee Birdie,
Yes.
trustee Harkemaier,
Yes,
trustee McAbey,
Yes.
and that passes. And Mrs. Vonderhaar, I trust you'll get that new schedule out and published and all the follow-up.
We sure will.
Next resolution, please.
Resolution 22-6 to set the township holiday schedule for the year of 2022. And the one change you'll see is the addition of Juneteenth, which became a federal holiday last year.
Motion to adopt?
Second?
That's still an option for us, Larry, or not? June 19th.
You mean, can you not make it a holiday?
Right.
I think it's a holiday. I think it's a federal holiday, and I think you have to
So
recognize.
last year, people were just doing whatever because it happened after the fact, or right at it, and all of that.
I think it was adopted as a federal holiday around or right after
Right.
June 19th, but now
A
I
couple of
think,
days before.
right,
And it's included in our contract with the FOP.
it is. It's included in all the contracts I've done for every political subdivision.
trustee Birdie,
Yes.
trustee Harkemaier,
Yes.
trustee McAbey,
Yes.
Next resolution, please.
Resolution 22-7, establishing and approving the 2022 zoning fee schedule. Two changes include the addition of pergolas and then the addition of similar use determination.
Motion to adopt.
Second?
Any discussion?
trustee Birdie,
Yes.
trustee Harkemaier,
Yes.
trustee McAbey,
Yes.
That passes. Next resolution, please.
Resolution 22-8, to authorize the administrator to execute all purchases and contracts for amounts equal to or less than $7,500.
And this seems to be regular work. This is a regular resolution. It's not part of an organizational meeting.
We did last year, Larry, that's up to.
I don't know that that's a legal question. I think that's more of a board business question. You could do this at a reorganization meeting or a regular meeting, whichever the board would prefer, I would say.
So we can either vote on this or put it in, pass the motion a second now. Although I understand that Mrs. Schultz has done some research on this regarding what other townships do. So if you could share that information with us, please.
Sure. I did ask every township in Butler County. I got some of the townships did not follow the same type of program we did where an administrator has an amount and department heads have an amount. So some of them I couldn't really compare. On the ones I could, it was, most other townships had higher amounts. Liberty had 10,000 for their administrator, 1,000 for their department heads. Westchester had, I'm sorry, let me look at that. I thought I had them all in my head. Westchester had 5,000 for their department heads, 7,500 for their administrator. Ross had their administrator could approve any amount as long as it was in the budget. And most of the other townships were like Riley and stuff where it was kind of hard to compare because they were so much smaller. So I did ask,
What amounts did we have last year?
we had 505,000. Is that right, Mrs. Vonderhaar? Yes. So my thoughts were that inflation has caused everything to go up a lot, and it's been difficult to kind of hold down spending for the department heads and the administrator to those low levels, and with the cost of everything going up. I asked every fiscal officer. It was the holidays. I didn't hear back from everyone, but from what I heard back from, that was what I came up with.
And you, I guess I'm confused on why you did this research. Fiscal officer, I mean, How did you determine 7,500? Did you determine the 7,500?
Yes.
See, to me, that's backwards. That needs to come from the board. And,
Well, it's a recommendation. You can make it whatever you want.
I'm glad you spent your time doing it, but I wouldn't do that without the board asking somebody to do it.
Well, if I came in with no research, then you would have said, why didn't you do your research
We shouldn't
first?
be doing this. That's part of my point. 7,500, and this is purchases and contracts. Again, the whole idea behind this in the past has been to cover those situations in between our meetings. We should be we're going to approve everything anyway. Well, you know this. I'd like to approve it in advance instead of afterwards. But if something breaks down, I understand that. But all purchases and contracts, 7,500. I think the number's too high, and I don't really like the wording. So again, what this ought to be doing is filling in the gaps between our meetings. We look at the bills, we approve them. We can do all that. So I just don't understand why we have to have that. 1,500 for department heads. It's the same thing. So maybe if we're serious, if the board is serious about adopting these two resolutions, we could at least wait till the regular meeting.
Well, it has been my experience before at organizational meetings to approve spending limits for certain, as part of the organizational meeting. I'm okay with the numbers, and I'm also okay if we need to wait until the 11th, which is 6 days away, to approve it. Is that something that would hinder the department heads if it's not approved tonight, or do we have to wait so many days once a resolution is passed anyway?
They can still spend 5,500, right?
Well, but I mean, if we're going to meet once a month now,
Right, I understand that.
it does give them the spending power to make purchases of repairs and what have you.
This is per issue or per item. So again, it's not like that's all they can spend.
Right, but if it's in their budget,
Yeah.
I don't like to handcuff our department heads or our administrator on if a certain emergency comes up and now we're only meeting once a month, to handcuff them for 3 weeks before we meet again to approve a purchase. That's just my one opinion, and I'm
Well, and
new to the game.
I agree with that. We could still have the communication, that the squad is down and there's an $8,000 expenditure, and none of us are going to say, don't fix it until
Right.
we vote. But that's what it's for.
Okay.
Not to decide to buy lunch for everybody or, whatever another situation might be. So,
I still think we can hold people accountable for what they're spending the money on. We're just now giving them we're raising their limit, but they know that we're going to hold them accountable to not spending on frivolous things.
I spend my own money on buying lunch for all the departments.
Mrs. Vonderhaar has actually bought lunch, many things for the departments for many years on her own time.
So I'm okay with whatever the rest of the board would like to do. If it wants to be, if someone would like it passed tonight, I'm okay passing it. If the theory behind the board is that we want to wait, I'm okay with that as well. But I don't want to handcuff. If this is something that the administrator and the department heads would like approved tonight, because there's things that might be coming up between now and then, I'm okay with passing it as well.
Well, and is there any other information that we feel we need to collect, or any other research or data that we need to make this decision? From my perspective, I appreciate that Mrs. Schultz went out and looked at that information and did that benchmarking for us, so that we kind of have that perspective as to what some of the townships that we have parity with, what they're currently doing. So I think that's good that they have that this kind of gives them a little bit more flexibility and latitude to do those things. And I think the entire board would agree that, and we would trust that our department heads and administrator aren't going to go out and be frivolous or do things that they shouldn't.
Because we're
still going to see the bills, right?
And we can hold them accountable.
Yeah, we're going to
For-
see those bills.
Right.
So it's not like anything is going to get snuck past us or anything like that. We're going to see the bills through the process.
And so I'm okay the way that it's worded, it being a organizational meeting decision as well. Because it's something that I've done before in other boards, and we've given limits to department heads and superintendents and treasurers before without board approval. And so I'm okay with this being an organizational meeting item as well.
So do we have a motion and a second?
We did not.
Motion to adopt 22-08.
Second,
Any discussion?
Trustee Birding,
yes.
Trustee Harkemaier,
Yes,
Trustee McAbey,
No,
and that resolution passes. May we have the next resolution, please?
Resolution 22-9 to authorize the department heads to execute all purchases and contracts for amounts equal to or less than $1,500.
Motion to adopt 2209.
Second. Any discussion?
Trustee Birding,
Yes.
Trustee Harkemaier,
Yes,
Trustee McAbey,
no,
that resolution passes. May we have the next resolution, please?
Resolution 22-10 to establish the township competitive bidding process.
motion to adopt?
Second,
Any discussion?
Trustee Birding,
yes.
Trustee Harkemaier,
Yes,
Trustee McAbey,
Yes,
that resolution passes. May we have the next resolution, please?
Resolution 22-11 to authorize the fiscal officer to open purchase orders for amounts necessary for normal everyday expenses.
motion to adopt?
Second. Any discussion?
And those are the normal operating expenses. And we still get to approve the POs, but this should make the operation in the fiscal office work a little better, having them open at the beginning, having them open for those. And there is a dollar amount that you could open on your own. What is it, 3,500 or 3,000, or what is it for fiscal officers you can open on your own?
honestly, I didn't think it was anything, but this is for things like the Humana bill that
Mhm.
I need to pay and the utilities. So I don't personally open anything without Mrs. Vonderhaar's approval, even if it's $100. So last I checked, I didn't have any spending authority.
I think it allows you to open a nominal amount, but it's,
Well, I don't, so. Trustee Birding,
Yes.
Trustee Harkemaier,
Yes,
Trustee McAbey,
yes,
that passes. Our announcements, we have our next Fairfield Township Board of Trustees meeting will be Tuesday, January 11th at 7 p.m. The offices will be closed for Martin Luther King holiday on Monday, January 17th, 2022. Are there any board member comments?
I'd just like to welcome Michael Birding to the board. His experience and his love for the township will be a big asset to us. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. McAbey. I appreciate that. Thank you for your support. I've known you longer than I've known my wife. And you've always been a great asset to the township, and I look forward to working with you.
Thank you.
And getting some of the knowledge for township government. I'm looking forward to picking your brain for that. So
Good luck with that.
thank you. And I hope you had a great new year with your family. I do want to thank my wife, Susan. I think she has done a tremendous job over the last 6 years, 5+ years of being a trustee here in Fairfield Township. And she, along with these two other fine trustees, have done a lot for this community, and we're in a great shape right now. I was told by several people on the campaign trail, please don't mess it up. And I hope to not do that. I've looked forward to this, campaigned very hard for it. I'm very grateful that the citizens of Fairfield Township put their trust in me. And I want to thank Trustee Harkemaier for helping with the campaign as well. I had a lot of volunteers, and especially my family. My kids walked a lot of miles and knocked on a lot of doors. And I want to say a special thank you to my daughter, Sarah, who walked with me a lot of neighborhoods. And when I was given my oath of office, I neglected to point that out, and so I want to apologize to her. But thank you very much to my family and to the citizens, and I'm looking forward to working with all the department heads. I've gotten to know you all very much over the last 5+ years, and I think everyone here in the community and in this organization does a great job. So I'm just looking to be part of it. Thank you.
The future is very bright in Fairfield Township. We have a lot of great things on the horizon. We have a lot of great successes under our belt, and I'm looking forward to 2022 and all the wonderful things we're going to accomplish. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Trustee Birding,
Yes.
trustee Harkemaier,
Yes.
trustee McAbey.
Yes?
And at 7:39, we are adjourned.
It's 100% for the election.